Donkey Kong Bonanza is only a little over a week away, and I am incredibly excited. I am a huge fan of Super Mario Odyssey. It's my second favorite game of all time. And I also love the Donkey Kong Country games as well, and I've been waiting over a decade for a new one. So I am just incredibly excited about Bonanza, and the fact that it's reminiscent of Mario Odyssey is no coincidence, because it is being developed by the Odyssey team, also known as EPD Group 8 or EPD Tokyo. And it makes a lot of sense just looking at the game. It looks like something that EPD Tokyo would develop, but I feel like the writing was also on the wall that they would be developing a new DK game even before Bonanza was revealed. I feel like the hints and clues that they were kind of hiding in plain sight. Some people did throw out the possibility before, and we did kind of have some idea that some group within EPD would be developing a new Donkey Kong game, but we didn't know for sure that EPD Tokyo would be doing it, but it just makes so much sense. With the buildup of Donkey Kong related media over the past half-decade, it makes a lot of sense why the next game would be as big as mainline Mario. And of course, since this is a 3D game, it would be developed by EPD Tokyo. It just makes a lot of sense in that regard. I feel like it's really the perfect fit for a 3D collectathon Donkey Kong game. And we've also been getting a lot of rumors and rumblings about a new DK game from EPD as early as 2021. So it just makes a lot of sense there as well. And EPD Tokyo's first game, back when they were called EAD Tokyo, was Jungle Beat on the GameCube. So their very first game before they even developed Galaxy, Galaxy 2, 3D World, and Odyssey was a Donkey Kong game. And it seemed to be an early attempt for Nintendo to create their own take on post-Donkey Kong Country Donkey Kong, since Rare was recently bought out by Microsoft at the time. And the game was very weird. It seemed very detached from Donkey Kong Country. It did have its own Kongs and things, and some hints and some influence, but it was a very different take on Donkey Kong. And I feel like Bonanza is kind of another chance for Nintendo and EPD to create their own version of Donkey Kong that doesn't make it too detached from Donkey Kong Country, that's still kind of heavily connected to Rare's vision of Donkey Kong, while also doing its own thing as well. I feel like it's the perfect middle ground here, and I feel like it's kind of another attempt for them to create a Donkey Kong game. And I haven't played Jungle Beat yet. I do plan on doing so fairly soon. But I heard it is still good. I heard it's weird, but still good. But at the same time, I feel like Bonanza is just on a whole other level. I mean, it's just on a much bigger scope than Jungle Beat was. And on top of Jungle Beat, I feel like EPD Tokyo, in general, wanted to make a new Donkey Kong game. There are plenty of references in their past games, in the past, just a little over a decade at this point. Ever since the Wii U era, in some of their games, they've had hints and references to Donkey Kong, both arcade DK as well as Donkey Kong Country. Captain Toad had a lot of references to Donkey Kong. The Super Pickaxe functions similarly to the hammer from the original Donkey Kong, and also plays a remix of the music as well. I remember when Captain Toad first released, I thought that was really cool that it was referencing Donkey Kong like that, since that was the first time we got a classic arcade Donkey Kong reference in a Mario spin-off other than Mario vs. Donkey Kong in quite a long time. So I thought that was pretty cool. And then there's also a whole level in the game called Retro Ramp Up, which is an homage to 25M from arcade Donkey Kong. And it's really cool. They basically replaced Donkey Kong with a spike, which is pretty funny. I know Demeech would approve of that, but a very cool level. It kind of even looks like a little pixelated as well, kind of like the voxel-esque style. So I think it's really cool that they kind of created an homage to the original Donkey Kong there with a level in the game. And this is definitely a coincidence, but there's also minecart levels in the game, and I feel like that's very much of a stretch to call that a DK reference because there are minecart levels in many other games, but who knows? It might be a subtle reference to Donkey Kong Country because just like looking at EPD Tokyo, like just with their history and everything, I wouldn't be surprised if they threw in minecart levels because of Donkey Kong and because of the Donkey Kong influence, but at the same time, it's probably a stretch to call that a reference. But Mario Odyssey also obviously had a lot of Donkey Kong references, and it's part of the reason why I made this video. It really kind of seemed like a hint towards what was to come for the next EPD Tokyo game, because it brought back Pauline. I know Pauline was in Mario vs. Donkey Kong, but it kind of fully brought her back into the Mario franchise with a major appearance. And New Donk City was basically a celebration of arcade Donkey Kong, just in so many ways. Like, it had the girders, and like the segment in the celebration was kind of like a recreation of arcade Donkey Kong, and there was also like a mission in the game where you had to find like Pauline's lost items, and like some of the music in the game, like Jump Up Superstar and Break Free, kind of used like samples of like 25M in the game as well. There are just like so many like little references to Donkey Kong in the game, and it really seems like they were hinting at making a DK game. Like it almost seemed like at that point they already decided that they wanted to make a Donkey Kong game. And like even another thing, it wasn't just arcade Donkey Kong that was referenced in the game. They also referenced Donkey Kong Country as well. Since if you remember the street names in New Donk City, they're named after different Donkey Kong Country characters, like Diddy, Dixie, Tiny, Cranky, Candy, Rambi, Espresso, Squawks, and even King K. Rool. So for any of the King K. Rool deniers that he can't possibly be in Bonanza, there's a little bit of a hint that EPD Tokyo is aware of King K. Rool. And then on top of that, we also got a Diddy Kong outfit in the game, which was very interesting and kind of seemed a little bit out of place among like all the other costumes in the game, since it was like a much more like Donkey Kong Country-esque reference there. But it was interesting nonetheless, and I do think that was partially a hint towards Bonanza happening. So there are quite a lot of references in like fairly recent EPD Tokyo games. And then finally, we've also heard some rumblings even before it was revealed that EPD Tokyo would be the developer of this game, but there were some people, like some rumors and rumblings, that apparently Bonanza's development team, the part of EPD Tokyo that's working on it, is partially made up of younger devs who worked on Odyssey, who grew up with the DKC games. So if some of these younger developers started working with EPD Tokyo around the time that 3D World and Captain Toad released, and then went on to include like more references in Odyssey and then develop Bonanza, I think that would make quite a lot of sense. I think like a lot of things are kind of adding up here. I feel like the writing was on the wall for quite a while that they would do a DK game. I feel like at first, like with Captain Toad, that was still like just a little after Tropical Freeze released. It was still kind of uncertain who would develop like the next Donkey Kong game, since Retro Studios was working on that other project. I forgot what it was called, but there was like a leak for it recently. It was like a completely new IP. And then they started developing Metroid Prime 4. So I feel like by the early Switch era, like EPD Tokyo was kind of destined to develop the next Donkey Kong game. So it just makes quite a lot of sense there. But just with all of this like evidence here, it just seems like EPD Tokyo was very passionate about developing a Donkey Kong game, and just that fact alone just makes me extremely excited for Bonanza. This is exactly what the Donkey Kong franchise needed, and I'm just incredibly excited. But anyways, thank you guys for watching this video. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more, and make sure to check out my Discord server and Blue Sky if you want to. Stay perky!